So now when we talk about like what is the ancient view of Gehenna, right? So it represents the afterlife, absolutely. But what do the ancient people believe? Now this is where you get into annihilatism versus eternal torment. And this is the part that's probably, you know, whether or not you believe in annihilatism or eternal torment, you know, that's your theological opinion, and that's fine. We're not telling you what you should believe or what to believe. But
Question for the
historically
philosophers.
but historically speaking, in the first century, Gehenna was viewed as a place of annihilation. The first century Jews were annihilationists. They were not eternal punishment believers, at least by the majority of the scholarly opinion. Anyway, there's a couple of opinions that seem to indicate an eternal punishment, but by all accounts, the long and short of it is things like, you know, the fire that burns eternally. Well, the fire burns eternally, not the soul within it. And that's kind of like the best explanation for when we see phrases like that seem a little out of place for what we know that the first century believers did believe. And so just to answer that question, I have it here real quick. And this is once again from his book, Bart Ehrman's Heaven and Hell, a History of the Afterlife, page 165. But how could death be an eternal punishment? It is certainly the ultimate punishment, just as a death sentence is the ultimate punishment for criminals still in some civilized countries. But why is it eternal? Because it's a punishment that doesn't end. The wicked are destroyed, never to be restored to life. Their deaths cannot be reversed. They suffer an eternal punishment. That is, there is no teshuvah in this death. Like once you die and you're thrown into the fire, your chance to repent is that's it. You've died, and that's the eternality of the punishment. The suffering is not eternal. It's the punishment itself is the eternal bit. Yeah. Like there's no coming back from that.
You're gone forever. That's the eternality of it.
Now, where we see like the weeping and gnashing of teeth, that is mourning, like mourning. So during the Olam Haba, or during the 1,000-year reign, right, the millennial reign, the idea is that you have the kingdom, and everyone who got in, and it's a good day. It's a great day. Everyone who didn't get in, there's a resurrection of the dead for everybody, and those who didn't get in are on the outside. And from where they can see, they're probably in the valley of Gehenna, and they're weeping because they can see God's presence. They can see the lovely, the bliss, but they cannot take any part in it. And it's emotionally detrimental. That's the weeping and gnashing of teeth is a weeping. It's a mourning. It's not a suffering. It's mourning. And so the idea is because they've been separated and severed from God and there's nothing they can do about it, they mourn for that 1,000 years. And then they're thrown eventually into the fire that doesn't go out, where their souls are completely annihilated. That is the view that is the most consistent with our current scholarship and up-to-date evidence on what the first century Israelites believed. You know, whether you like it or not. And again, we're not telling you what to believe as a theologian. There's certainly a case can be made for like an eternal torment. Sure. But we're not trying to be theologians here. We're trying to just give you the historically accurate information. And whether that changes your theology or not is entirely dependent on you.